everyone, and welcome to the Guyana Television Network. My name is Daniela Arajo, and thank you so much for joining us for this public engagement with two times NBA MVP and Hall of Famer Hakeem Olajuwon, also known as the Dreamer. For those of you who don't know, Hakeem Abdul Olajuwon, nicknamed the Dreamer, is a Nigerian and American former professional basketball player. From the year 1984 to 2002, he played center in the National Basketball Association for the Houston Rockets, and in his last season for the Toronto Raptors. Now, Hakeem, who's currently in Guyana, will meet with the local basketball fraternity today right here at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall in Georgetown, Guyana. Now, the entire basketball fraternity has been invited. This includes player, coaches, and of course, the officials. Now, the Minister of Culture, Youth, and Sport, who is also present, the Honorable Charles Ramson, noted the significance of the visit of the legend in inspiring the local basketball community and strengthening developmental plans for the sport. Without any further ado, let's get directly into today's agenda.
All right, so have a seat. Everyone have a seat.
Yeah, get his mic out there.
So, it's been real kind of you to come to Guyana, and we want to just go a little bit about your background, what inspired you to play basketball, because there are a lot of young people here who love basketball. There are not so young people too here who love basketball too, and they've been following you in your career. So this is actually even a dream of a lifetime. Hakeem, the dream of a lifetime, for them to get an opportunity to meet you even after this is done. And I know you want to get your pictures in too, so you'll get that afterwards. But this is our opportunity to ask you some questions. So I'll start it off because just so that we can get it flowing, and you'll get a mic roving around. We'll have that ready so that anyone can ask some questions. So we know you were born in Nigeria.
Yes.
And you ended up playing, obviously, for the NBA, but became two-time champion and finals MVP and every single possible achievement you can achieve playing basketball. But we want to start at the beginning. So what inspired you to play basketball, or who inspired you to play basketball, and how did you end up making it to university in Houston?
Wow, that's a long Well, I started playing basketball late in my career. I mean, I was 16 years old when I started. Basketball was not too popular in Nigeria at that time. As you know, everybody plays soccer. So I was playing soccer growing up, playing table tennis, more like all sports. But my senior year in high school, then basketball was introduced to our school. I guess they went to every class and just let everybody stand up. This tall guy, okay, you come over here. So I was picked.
So it was based strictly on height at the beginning.
Right. At the beginning.
Right.
And also I was playing soccer and volleyball, more like tall but coordinated, so they know that you'll be able to be a potential prospect.
So when you started, how old were you at that point?
16 years old.
Wow. And were there any figures, players that you watched at when you were 16 or maybe even a little bit older that really inspired you, or you wanted to model your game after them?
That came later on because in Nigeria, NBA basketball was not popular.
Right.
So I didn't know any players from the US. But there are some local legends that have been playing for the country for so long that I was introduced to. And one of them named Yomi Basket. Yomi Basket. His name is Yomi, but in the match, every time you hear his name Yomi, next thing Basket. Yomi Basket. So he was my hero that time.
Okay. So how did you move from Nigeria and getting an opportunity to play at university in Houston?
I was chosen on a under 18 tournament to play for the country. We went to Angola in African Championship, and from there I was discovered to play in the United States.
Okay.
Right.
And then when you started at university,
Yes.
who was it that really helped to keep you playing basketball? Or was there an internal hunger or passion inside that made you love the game so much?
Oh, from Nigeria, immediately I touched basketball. The coach in Nigeria established how I see the game. He let me know from the beginning how important my position in basketball is. So you're a center, and you see that paint area? That is your jurisdiction. You should rule that. So he gave me a concept that you are the primary focus in this game. So my mentality, understanding my role from the beginning was clear. And that's where I carried on when I got to Houston. I was very fortunate to go with a team that's already established, set, but they're looking for a good center. And that was my college team, which we went to the Final Four 3 years in a row.
Okay. Yeah. And were you...
Fire Slammer Jammer. I don't know if you know about that. If you Google Fire Slammer Jammer, that's my college team because we dunk everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at that point, though, you were already in the U.S., so you were looking at NBA games.
Yes.
And was there any player that you might have looked at more seriously because you liked their game and you wanted to adopt some of their moves?
Yes, mostly I look at guards.
The guards?
Guards, yeah.
Even though you were a center?
I was center because I always loved the...
Why was that?
I think the guard's position is more fun because they get to dribble and shoot and drive. And for the center position, it's more like you're in jail, in the paint. And the coaches, they don't want me to dribble the ball, don't put the ball on the floor, keep it up. So you're very limited.
Right.
So the big man's position are very limited. But, they put the big man on this side and the guards on that side. I'll be on this side, but looking at this side.
Well, you're watching at this side.
So I really enjoy the guards game. And that's how my game evolved. Not like as a big man's game, even though I play center. But my style of basketball is more small forward, power forward, and center.
So tell us, when you got drafted in the 1984 draft
Yes.
as the #1 Houston pick,
Yes.
obviously another big accomplishment for you. How did that happen?
Well, not too many players get a chance to play in the same city that they went to university. So Houston came last, and they were going to do a coin flip to choose the one player pick. So I came out of school my junior year, and Houston won the coin flips. That's why I got a chance to. I went to school in Houston, and I got a chance to play my professional career in Houston. So that was my motivation, knowing that I would be the one player pick. That's why I came out.
But did you know beforehand that Houston might have been interested in picking you as their draft player?
No, but as I mentioned, the role of a big man in basketball. So even Michael Jordan was in that draft,
right? Some other big names were in that draft
huge.
too.
Oh yeah, Charles Barkley.
Charles
But,
Barkley.
so that just reinforced what my coach told me in Nigeria, that you are the primary. And that anytime I walk on the court, you feel like you're the most important player on the court.
There was another big center that was in that same draft. Do you remember his name?
Sambuwe.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And he played on your team.
No, he went to Portland.
You went to Portland.
Oh, on my team?
Yeah.
Ralph Sampson.
That's right,
Yes,
Samson.
Ralph Sampson. Twin Towers.
They used to call you Twin Towers.
That's correct.
So both big players, also very high draft.
Yes.
What would you say separated you from him? Because you went on to becoming a Hall of Famer, and he didn't. What would you say would have been the special ingredient that made you become this world famous player?
I think injuries really sidelined his career, basically. It was more major injury, you know. But for me, getting to play under a coach that was so demanding to push you to your limit, and that really helped me to develop competitively, where every night when I step on the court, you play to win, and you believe. I've now played I played 18 years in the NBA, and every year I believe we can win championship. Truly believe that.
Well, how important was the will to win for you in every game? Was that a fundamental ingredient inside of your play, just wanting to win all the time?
Well, every time I'm on the court, I believe I was supposed to win. So even though we lose the game, I can't wait till we play you again. That's the mentality. I think it's very, very important. When you believe that you can do something, even if it's not happening, but you still believe it, because you have that confidence that you'll be lucky this time, but next time it'll be our turn.
So before your first championship, it was until the middle of the 90s. So you had a good maybe 10 years without winning your first championship.
My second year in the pros, we went to the finals.
Yeah.
We beat Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Then we played against Boston, and that team was a lot of legend on that team, and we were so young. That was my second year, so we lost that in the championship. So it took 10 years to get back into the finals.
And who were some of the players that you found to be really important as support players in the early part of your career?
I played with so many great players. Ralph Sampson, one of them. Clyde Drexler, where we were in college together. He was a year ahead of me. He got drafted by Portland. And 10 years later, we came back together. We didn't win in college. We went to the finals in college and lost. So we came together in the pros 10 years later and went together. So that was a good story.
I know you take us to your first championship. I know it was eluding you for a number of years. Talk us through that year and how it felt to become an NBA champion, and then obviously MVP champion too.
The first championship was against New York, which my toughest opponent, Patrick Ewing, from Jamaica. So we played him in the finals in college. He won.
Oh, so you remember that?
Georgetown. So when we met again in the finals, New York against Houston. So it was my turn to win this time. So we won the big one.
And what was that like? Tell us also, because obviously we look at NBA finals here, but we want to know, how did that help to change your career, and how did also it change the prospects with Houston? That would have been the first
World
championship for Houston.
That's correct. I mean, you don't know how difficult it is to just get to the finals.
Yes.
Everything has to be in place. The right players, coaches, timing. And also we're playing against a team that's very similar. They have a big man that's very dominating on that side, which we are power forward, guards, so match up so well. And that was a true championship because the rating went down because there's so much defense at that time. So, and we went all the way to game 7 to win that first championship to Houston. When they brought that cup to Houston, we were down 3-2. Now we have to play 2 games in Houston. And they brought the cup to Houston. I was saying in my mind that cup is not leaving Houston. We have to make sure we do whatever it takes to keep it in Houston. And we are blessed that happens.
Well, tell us about that because, I mean, winning the first championship is very difficult.
Yes.
But winning back-to-back is even more difficult, and very few teams have ever done that before. So how difficult was it to win back-to-back? Usually when you win, you're walking around with a target on your back and everybody is analyzing your game to see how they can infiltrate and better you in the next go-round. So how difficult was that so that you can come
that was the most, I mean, it's still today, it's historic because you are the sixth seed, the last to enter into the playoffs. And all the other teams that we played, all of them are 62 games winning. So we have to play all the games on the road. So that was never happened before, to beat all those teams. And also to play against players like Cam alone in the first round, then Charles Barkley in the second round. Then we went to San Antonio with the MVP of the league. Then in the finals, we had to play Shaq. I mean, when you look at all these teams that we played to win the championship, it was almost impossible. That's why it's still the record right now.
And let's talk about rivalries before we get to some of the questions because, some of those names that you're calling they are Hall of Famers on their own. They have been, by their own right, they have been competitors, they've been winners.
Yes.
So which one of those individuals or maybe a few of those individuals you would look at very carefully, study their game, figure out how you can outmaneuver them, just because you think that they were great players and that you know that they can have an impact on winning?
Our role is very similar because I played against David Robinson.
David Robinson from
shot block or
San Antonio.
Aggressive. We play very similar.
Yeah.
Then Shaquille O'Neal, very powerful. And these are the primary players on their team, they're the franchise of their team. So everything that we play have a franchise player. So there's no advantage. We just battle.
Who was the toughest to play against as a center?
Different challenges. When you play against David Robinson, so quick, very agile.
Not quicker than you, though.
I mean, we both are very, very quick. So the game is just back and forth. Then when you play against someone like Shaquille O'Neal, it's power, giants, physical.
Heavy.
One time at the All-Star game, we were walking down the hallway, and I was walking behind Shaquille, looking at him from the back. I was imagining, how do I play against this guy?
Well, that's how I felt coming in there just a second ago. All right, so I know this is really an opportunity for you guys. I wanted just to open this and get everybody thinking about their own questions. Where are we going to start with? Let's start with the younger ones first, so that you have some of the guys here from school. I shouldn't say guys, but boys and girls from school, and then we have some of the intermediate players, and then we have some of the national players. So start queuing up your questions in that way. We have a hand at the top. If we can get a microphone to him. And maybe if you're interested in asking a question, maybe you can come in closer so that it'll be easier for us to get the microphone to you.
What is, sir?
You want to say your name so that...
My name is Dante Thomas. Yeah, I'm 6'7". Yeah, but my question is to you, like, for example, I'm playing like club ball right now, and like the position, as you said, center, I'm also a center for my team. But like, is in nowadays basketball or play, the position of center is weird, because in your opinion, because you're watching basketball being played these days, how you think would be the best way to play as a center right now?
Say that again.
He's asking, so he's saying that the game has changed.
Yes.
Especially the inside game has changed a lot.
Yes.
So he's asking, what would be the best strategy as an inside player, especially as a center? How would you play today, knowing that the game has changed?
I think my style of basketball is today, basically. You have to be a complete player, meaning you can handle the ball. If I'm bigger than you, I take you inside the post. I take advantage of my size. And if you're bigger than me, I face up, I take you outside. So to be able to shoot and drive, inside, outside, rebound, block shots. So today, the position is not as emphasized as before, where 5, 4, 3, now you have to be able to do multiple positions. So for me, I think what we were struggling with at my time is being encouraged now, because they don't want us to shoot from outside, they want us to be in the paint. And I was playing. Now it's a compliment to shooting threes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I would love to play today's league.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have one more question. Yeah. From like at this position, like in Guyana, how do you think would be the best course for an individual to go to the NBA, like actual Guyanese?
I'm not really familiar with the players here. What is that?
He's asking, so he has a dream to go to the NBA.
Sure.
But he wants to know what would be the best route for a non-American player. And I guess you don't know enough about Guyana,
Yes.
but outside of America, what would be the best route that you would suggest to take their talents all the way?
I see. How old are you now?
19.
19. So you have to find a way to play for like a college university in the US.
He's saying you try to figure out how you can get into a college in the US and then maybe
Right.
explore it in that way, which is exactly what you did.
Right.
That's exactly what you did. Okay, who's next? We have somebody over there. Not part of the younger group, but... Oh, okay, good. Wait, hold on. Wait for the microphone. Oh, him first and then over there.
Good afternoon. I'm Matthew Singh, and I wanted to ask you about this new Houston team.
Okay, just hold the microphone closer to your mouth and stop moving it around.
This new Houston team, you worked with Şengün a lot, right?
You worked with who?
Şengün.
That's correct, yeah.
Right. What do you think this Houston team needs to win? Because they lost to the Warriors. really badly in that game 7. And I just want to know what's something you think they need to improve on.
Well, we lost to the Warriors, but game 7 at home. So we had the advantage, but the experience, So that's one more year experience. I think will make a difference for next year.
Who's next? Just go closer here.
Yeah, Mike. Check, check. So, ladies and gentlemen, guys, we're setting up a permanent mic here, but we'll still have the roving mic. But those of you who are interested in asking questions, come here, one after the other. So, in the interest of time, we have a flow. Who's next? Yeah, come.
My name is Lucas. How does your Nigerian roots and faith shape the way you approach the game and life after basketball?
He's asking, how does your Nigerian roots
Yes.
change how you approach life after basketball?
Well, being from Nigeria, growing up in the US, you have the advantage being from outside and the experience, the culture, where the confidence, where when you meet different people, you can adapt, give you that cultural, multicultural, to be able to relate with a lot of people. And that's not just after my career, during my career, so the transition is very, very smooth to be able to continue my opportunities to do something else, help players, the community, business, just be positive, in the community at large.
Question?
Good afternoon, sir.
President.
I want to ask, how can
You want to
basketball...
state your name?
Oh, sorry. My name is Foster Keynes, and I'm from West Zamora Secondary School. And I want to ask, how can basketball affect my health as a young person?
Affect your
Health as a young individual.
affect your health.
Yes, sir.
I would say positively affect your health. He wants to know how can basketball affect his health.
I have another question, though. Who do you think is winning the current NBA Finals?
My guess would be OKC.
OKC. Okay.
That's my guess.
I have to go with the Wolves.
Okay. Why do you think that?
First of all, they have the best record.
They have the best record.
So it's not something that just happened overnight. They play all year to get to that point where they are right now, having the home court advantage. And also they have the MVP of the league on that team.
So that helps.
Tremendously.
That helps. Okay, next. State your name and maybe your school.
My name is Dimitri.
What's your name?
Dimitri.
Dimitri.
I go to Queen's College. My question is, who do you think deserved this year's MVP? Shea or Jokic?
They chose that already, and I agree.
No. Thank you, sir.
SGA. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Daniel Lewis. I'd like to ask you a question. When would you consider yourself, when was your prime?
A prime. I think from my third year in the NBA, for 10 years, I was playing the best of basketball of my career at that time. till 94, 95, the championship years, become my I guess, milestone.
And I want to ask you too, since you're during that period of your prime, how important was training to you, and how important was diet to you, and were you very focused on the diet part of your training?
I think the training was more important. Diet, you practice and play so much, you don't have to worry about diet. But training, is, strength and conditioning. That was the key. But diet, even though I eat well, but I was not concerned with that.
And then when you were doing strength and conditioning work, was there a lot of what kind of exercises you used to do in the gym?
The training is very specific, more plyometrics, jumping, the boxes,
Okay.
running. So some functional movement, not just weights, but functional movement that can help you bend, jump, to be more agile.
Right. Okay. We have another young person.
My name is Leon Barrett, and I go to Queens College as well. And my question is, in the guard position, what are some tips you would give me to better my defense?
Defense?
Defense.
The best defense is offense. You understand that?
Pardon?
Can you explain to me?
Yeah, he said that the best defense is a strong offense.
So, don't think defense, don't think offense.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You keep your man on a defensive position. Otherwise, you're going to be busy.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Also, physicality, being physical, very important. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Lemuel Grant. Obviously, coming from Nigeria, there's a lot of players with a lot of skill, height. As you, what would you say set the standard or set you aside from the rest? Like, shows everybody else that I am that guy. Like, I deserve to be here. I deserve the opportunity in college. I deserve the opportunity at the NBA. Because coming from Nigeria, I realized it's a long shot for you. Because you didn't born with the, in America and, straight shot like everybody else. You had to cut some corners. And so what would you say allowed you to show everybody that you're different? Or, what ethic of your game or personality allowed you to express that?
Well, I think, first of all, the God-given talent, you have to have the talent. And to believe you can compete. And the drive to compete because my attitude when I first came to, my attitude was, I wasn't familiar with the players. So I don't want to read about any player. I want them to prove themselves to me so I can qualify them myself. Otherwise, sometimes you read about a player, then you feel you get intimidated before you play them. So my attitude is I don't want to know who you are. You have to prove yourself to me, and I have to decide. Oh, that guy is tough. Or sometimes maybe a guy that very popular. When you play against him, you find out he's not as tough.
Right.
So it's very important to have your own strong mind, competitive nature. And if you outplay me, I will shake your hand. And I can't wait to play you again next time. So you have that attitude.
Got you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, we're just asking persons to remain quiet during this session, please. We're having a lot of talking in between. Thank you.
My name is Akai Lane, and I go to Breakdance Secondary. Who would you say is the toughest player at the guard?
Who's the toughest player you got to guard?
Shaquille O'Neal. I'm Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing.
Yes. Who's that? David Robinson. Those
David
three.
Robinson.
When we get our schedule for the year, I only look at those three guys. So I'll make sure I get some sleep that night.
All right, go ahead.
My name is Jeremiah Fraser. I would like to know who you think will win the NBA championship this season.
Well, you answered that question already. You said OKC.
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 That's my opinion. I'm on the road.
Hi, my name is Nathan Morris. I have two questions. The first one, on the picture furthest to your left, did you make that shot or did you miss? Behind you.
He made the shot. He made the shot. Next question.
That's my signature shot. So
my second question is that I'm like 5'10" and I play center for Queens College basketball team. I mostly shoot the ball more than I go in the post. I'd like to ask you for any tips to help me improve my game down low.
So he's 5'10", he's saying, but he's playing center in his team. But he loves to shoot. So he's asking for some tips. The question is, do you love playing center, I would say?
No, not really, but...
Not really.
Can you dribble?
Somewhat.
Yeah, that's very important. So you don't play center. You can play, now there's no more positions. Center, forward, guards, just be a scorer. You like to shoot? Just make sure you take good shots. And you take it with confidence. That's it.
I think also he just kind of follows the question that he had at the first, which is really that you need to be a complete player now. The game has evolved now where it's not as, limited as it used to be. So you need to be a complete player. Go ahead.
My name is Malachi Daniels. I'm from West Denver Secondary.
Great.
What advice would you give to aspiring NBA players?
What advice would you give to young people who want to make it to the NBA now?
That makes it.
That what? He wants to make it to the NBA, so what kind of advice would you give to young people who want to make it to the NBA?
Well, it's like everything else, very, very competitive. So you have to prepare. How do you prepare? Strength and conditioning, very important. Physical, toughness, and just compete. Do the best you can.
I want to ask you too, what was your training program like in terms of consistency? Did you used to train 1 time a day, 2 times a day? Or did you have days off that you felt you needed your body to recover?
When I was playing, the secret for me is to train every day.
Train every day. And how many hours you used to get in every day?
Oh, depends. Sometimes, just go there for 1 hour. Because I'm a trainer, and you don't feel like training because we play back-to-back games.
Right.
But you still have to go in, get the blood flowing, just train, and you feel so much better for the next day. So train every day.
Train every day. Next.
My name is Shamar Husbands. In your opinion, who had the better prime, you or Shaq?
Well, I don't really compare. I think both of us had a great career. And we are 5 years apart. So it's not a comparison. We have mutual respect, great. So, pick your choice.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Brianne. I'd like to ask you about your signature move, the Dream Shake. Did you come up with it or was it something you were taught?
I think that just evolved because that movement was my favorite move when I was playing soccer, which is to misdirect the opponent with a soccer move that was really translated to basketball. So, and when I was playing, they sent 2, 3 guys to double and triple team. So you have to maneuver. So by trying to maneuver, evolve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So obviously you had to be very agile too as a player, and in fact you're probably one of the most agile centers that's ever played the game. Were you always that way when you were in high school and then going into university, or is it something that you had to work on?
Growing up in Nigeria, I was also a goalkeeper. They think because you're so tall, they try to give you an elbow, They think you can bend. So all my life, I don't think as a tall guy, just normal. So this is a very natural instance.
So football actually helped you in that situation?
Tremendously.
Okay, so this is Hakeem. This is actually one of the most recognized media journalists. So he's got a question for you.
That's going to be a real question.
So, my name is Hakeem Green from Newsroom. My question is centered around the fact that a lot of kids here, I just want to get from you, I know you touched on it earlier about training and training every day, but if you could expound a bit on how much you went beyond what your coaches were doing, I guess, in those sessions, and I guess the hours you actually spent and the dedication you placed behind the scenes to perfect your craft. If you could expound on that a bit, and I just have one more question after that.
Yes.
He's asking how much time did you actually put towards the training part of it beyond what was required of you on the team? So that young people can know how hard it is to make it.
I mean, you have to, just like in class, where the teacher teach the whole class, but there are some students that will go back and review, so have a better understanding. So the same thing in basketball. The coach will coach, but you have to do your part now to go back and refine your game and put more extra work, which results into refining your game and getting better. So it's very important to work on your own individual skills, your skill sets to perform in a higher level. The coach just want to put in the play, then you have to figure out a way to put in the basket. You don't have time to be trying to develop players right now. You have to develop yourself so you can execute the play that the coach wanted you to do.
Yeah, and many persons look at sport as a practical exercise, but I want to get from you the theoretical side of playing sport, and I guess the research that you probably did to learn weak points of your opponents, and reading about the game itself. If you guys could expound to them that it's not just about on the court, but you have to do a lot of, I guess, theoretical knowledge to understand the game, be able to execute it better.
I mean, when you have to be like a student of the game by watching your opponent, studying their weaknesses, their strengths and their weaknesses. So, or some things that you like from their game that you can apply to your own game. So you have to pick from every aspect of the game to develop your own, to come up with your own opportunity to execute. But the most important is the courage. Maybe some people, you may have the ability to do something, but at that moment, you don't have the courage to actually execute it. So the sports really help individual teamwork, courage. It's not just playing sports. We learn so much from sports they can carry outside playing sports. You learn that when you go to the corporate world, the team, how to be a team player, how to be courageous to make decisions. It's part of the whole game, so it both works together. I don't know if I answered the question.
Yep. So we just have a few more questions, and then we'll close off this section, and then you guys can get your pictures before the dream leaves.
Good evening. I have two questions as well. The first one is, could you talk a little bit about transitioning from being obviously a very famous athlete to becoming a very successful businessman?
Well, what is the second question?
The second question is, do you believe that you would have won the two championships had Michael Jordan not retired?
Okay. So, let me answer the second question first. Yes. You know, people bring that question up all the time. But what people don't realize is that when Chicago Bulls were winning championships, we were beating them that time. So when you look at our record against Chicago, my career, we beat them in Chicago and in Houston most of the time. So we have huge advantage over Chicago. And the second championship also, Jordan was there.
Yeah, he just come back.
He played 40 games. That'll just come back.
That's more than half the season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they lost to Orlando with Shaq and Penny Hardaway. So that's why Jordan, I respect him so much. He never make excuses. He lost, and he came back the following year. Okay. Then the first question
Was, I wanted you to talk, because we do have a lot of athletes in Guyana, whether they play in basketball or other disciplines, cricket and so forth. And a lot of them do make money from their sporting disciplines. But I want you to talk a little bit about how you transitioned from playing basketball and making money off basketball to becoming a business owner and an investor.
I was very blessed and lucky to have good people around me when I was playing, good advisors that gave me a lot of advice in my investments when I was playing. And that's how I learned most of my business from experience. People that surrounded me, that guided me to the transition.
So the Lakers shirt over there, that you'll be the last person. So we'll go next. So say your name and where you're from.
Good day, mister. My name is Kimar Duncan. I attend St. Rose's High. I have two questions for you. And my first question is, how much points do you think you would average in this day and age?
I can tell you that maybe at least over 30. It's easy to score today, you know, so at least over 30 average.
Okay. My second question is, if you were ever struggling with confidence, what did you do to kind of deal with confidence issues as a coming up athlete?
Preparation. If you prepare, that will give you confidence when you prepare. The insecurity comes from lack of preparation. So when you prepare for something, at that moment, you have that confidence to execute and to compete and not to be afraid of failure. If you fail in something, it's not because lack of trying. You try, you fail, or you continue to try to make it up. So people that lack of confidence because they are afraid to fail, and so they never try what they believe they can really do. So preparation is very important. When you prepare, then go forward with whatever that is. And if you fail, not because lack of preparation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Quincy Kendall, former basketball player in the 90s. I think this is more of a statement and a bit of appreciation for you. This is from, I guess, the older folks here in the stands. to say thank you for being part of the best era of basketball in the 90s and also making it the best. But without you and the others, we wouldn't have been able to do that. We wouldn't have seen that. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much for the compliments.
That's it. Because I missed the first part of the panel and stuff like that, so I didn't know if it was said, but no questions. You're here, you're the best. So
Wow.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
As we're on that, what was it like playing amongst all the great players as part of the Dream Team and winning your Olympic gold medal and representing the country? What was that like playing with all those great players?
It was an experience to be where you have the best in the world in every position as your teammate. So, there's a lot of pressure too because you can't afford to lose.
Yeah.
So, but now it's getting too close.
Was there any team that, while you were playing, was there any team that gave you that you made look at a little bit closer, like Argentina or any one of the? Yeah.
Not that time.
Right.
But now it's too close.
It's too close. Got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Clive Thomas. My question is, I'm sure you've been during your career, you realized that you were you had a lot of potential and you know that you would be able to accomplish a lot of great things. My question is, how is it that you knew that you were so great but still remain humble instead of a prideful player?
He's saying you were always a great player. You've achieved so much. How is it that you've done all of that and still remain so humble?
Wow! Thank you for the compliments. I think it's my faith where humility as a quality for anybody is a huge compliment to be humble and be grateful for the opportunity that that everybody that's here have bright future, but you don't know where will that lead you. But at the same time, you have to respect people. That's part of being civilized. To respect when you're as a teammate, there are some players on the bench that don't get a chance to play at all. And they have the same status as the superstar of the team. So you to respect everybody. And that's part of the value that I was raised with. Thank you so much for that compliment.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And as you run that too, how much of a factor did faith play in your career? I know obviously you're very religious, but would you say that was extremely important to your development as a player too?
Yes, it gives you that structure, discipline, to be able to. If you're not disciplined, it's very difficult to be consistent in anything. So the faith gives you that structure to be disciplined, respectful. The formula for success. So I think that's that fundamental role in my life, where even successful does not base upon material things or achievements. It's just been civilized, refine yourself to respect people and also earn the respect of the people.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, do you have the last three here?
Good evening. My name is Christoph Shepard. From listening to you, I can tell that you're a very humble person. But I would just like to know, all time, and we're talking centers alone, where would you put yourself?
That's what?
At center position, all time.
All time? Well, the way when you look at Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain, I look at them as those are the grandfathers. So you don't compare yourself with them. They set the foundation for that. So when I look at my era, I've competed with Patrick, David, Shaq. So I have tremendous respect for all those players. So I don't really, anybody you put ahead of me or me in the middle is accepted. So it's for you guys to pick, not for me.
So I think you're the second person I heard say that. Michael Jordan once said you cannot compare players of different eras because they play in different eras. Played. So my question to you, sir, in each era, who is the best player you would think?
In each era.
In each era. That is the era with Michael Jordan, the era with LeBron James, the era with Kobe Bryant, Will Chamberlain's era.
Well, I didn't get a chance to see the Chamberlain and Bill Russell, but you see the record, what they accomplished. In our era, Michael Jordan was the most popular of our era, even though we have a lot of great players. And in this era, we have LeBron being that face that time, until somebody has become along, like Yama. So it's always somebody has to lead the era. That does not take away from all these superstars in that era.
So I'm a Steph Curry fan. Why? He did. Now, the same LeBron era you're talking about. What years would you say that is? Because if I can say, Steph Curry won 4 rings in the same era as LeBron winning 4. So, who would you then put as the best player of that era?
Best player, wait?
Of that era.
Yeah, the best player in the LeBron era. Where do you put like Stephen Curry and all the others that are playing with him?
As I mentioned, the face of the league doesn't mean somebody only have one driver. So LeBron is the most popular of that era. So, but Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, there's so many great players, but different contribution. Like Steph Curry, they say the greatest shooter of all time. You cannot argue that. Right. But still, LeBron's still the face of that era.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last two.
Greetings to you, sir. My name is Deji Adiremi, and you're welcome to our very beautiful country, Guyana.
Thank you.
I welcome you. I have 2 questions for you, sir. The first one is, as a young boy growing up in Lagos, Nigeria, we heard about you, how you started from football into basketball.
Yes.
Your story motivated us. It inspired us in Surulere and all the suburb areas. Now, what are some of the challenges that you faced as a young man who was transitioning from football into basketball? My son started his passion with football as well, but now he plays for the under 14 QC team. So how were you able to overcome these challenges in that time? My second question is that what would be your advice to parents like me and so many that are here tonight in effort to support their children in the beautiful game of basketball? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. The transition from soccer to basketball, actually not a challenge, is an advantage of the footwork that you have in soccer. So when you play in basketball, your movement is different. It's comfortable to maneuver in traffic between people. So learning the game of basketball with your skill set of soccer actually help to make you a unique player. So it's not a challenge, it's an advantage for me. And the advice for the parents is, as I mentioned before, the sports is not just playing. It's to support your kids playing basketball or any sports, give them focus. to get them away from even phones, things like that, go outside and play. So it really helps you to do something that's challenging, is different, is sports, is beneficial. So the parents have to support that to get them out to participate in any sports. Basically, it's something that is very good for the development of any kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Last one.
Good day, Mr. Hakeem. On your two NBA Finals games, which one was the hardest matchup? A young Shaq or Patrick Ewing?
Both are very, very tough challenge to play against both those two guys.
Yeah, well, which one give you more a bruising? A lot of elbows.
Which one is what?
Which one, sorry?
A
Who gave you more
tougher
bruises?
fight.
Probably Shaq.
Both of them. Both of them. Because with Patrick, that game went to game seven.
Yeah.
With Orlando, it was four straight, so it was much easier. But with Patrick, it was seven games bruises to the last second. So both of those guys are very, very difficult to play.
And one more question. And who you think will be your Mount Rushmores of centers? And any current players like Jokic?
Today's game?
Oh no, all time. Like Mount Rushmore all time.
For centers.
As I mentioned before, the two untouchables are Will Chamberlain and Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You have those three. Then the next two, you have
Options. But you're in there.
I don't know.
You gotta be in there. You gotta be in there. All right, so I'm gonna close off with one question. Was there at any point in your career that you felt like you wanted to give up? And if the answer is yes, was there anything that helped you not to give up, or anybody that encouraged you to stay with the game and as a result become so successful?
I would not say give up, but where I didn't see myself winning championship with certain kind of players that surrounded me. That time was not giving up, but explore maybe to play elsewhere. But it convinced me to stay.
Who was it that convinced you to stay?
The owners.
The owners,
Yes.
right?
And the GM that we make big trades, bring some good players, role players that will complement your game. And that was the only time, only 1 year. That was it.
Good. Well, I want to say you've been extremely generous with your time. I want you to put your hands together for Hakeem.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It has been a real privilege, first of all, to have you in Guyana. But most importantly, we feel what people want to do. In Guyana, we are very discerning people. So we know when people have good intentions, and this was one of the ways that we can feel that you had the best of intentions to share the best advice with the young people here who want to build a career for themselves. So we're extremely grateful for your time, and we want to thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hakeem. And now anyone who wants pictures with Hakeem, feel free to come and get some now. Okay. But maybe as a group picture, yeah. As a group picture.
You went and now play the beauty. Yeah, I'm going to see my play ads now, right?
Just take your time. We have 2 lines. Let's do it in an orderly fashion. All right? Thank you. Guys, let's do it in an orderly fashion, please. Everybody's gonna get an opportunity. Huh? Everybody will get a chance.
I don't tell them. Do it again. Okay, so Daniela,
All right. This one photo each, guys. Next.
That wraps up today's event with two-time NBA champion, MVP, and Hall of Famer Hakeem Olajuwon, also known as the Dreamer. Now, today's engagement was definitely impactful, and I think that it marks a significant occasion for persons in the basketball community. For those of you who are watching, you're tuned into the Guyana Television Network. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys had fun. I definitely had fun diving into the life of this iconic basketball player. And of course, remember to download the Guyana Television Network app on your Android, iPhone, your tablet, or your home television so that you can stream our program shows live and direct for absolutely free. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook at the Guyana Television Network app. My name is Danielle. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, be safe and bye for now.